a government today who, for example, settles the problem of power or settles the problem of insecurity, I think that government will be celebrated everywhere and anywhere.
How will it be
celebrated? And if you talk about that, there's going to be a cap. There is no cap. These are just statements of the political elite to keep us in the dark.
No, I don't believe that.
Because the government, you can't tell me that a government who has all the power that there is in this country, Nigeria, has a cabal somewhere.
If I carry stick now, hit your head, which government is going to prevent me?
I think this is an excuse of the political elite. And I do believe, excuse me, and I want to give an excuse. You know, when we talk about Obi, you know, the reason why I love Obi as a person, I would not have been this interested in the person of Obi. It's because of his past record. And he has always pointed everybody to his past record. And if we want to look about what will happen in the future, we can also look at the past record.
Which past record?
Yes. When Obi was governor of that state, all the House of Assembly were not from his party. Those were not cabal in the state.
Is that his record?
I'm talking about that. Excuse me now. Let me make my statement.
Go straight to your.
You won't allow me talk.
No, you are the only one talking.
Because you make what I'm reacting to.
What is Obi's record?
What I'm reacting
now.
I'm coming. What I'm reacting to.
He was your analysis.
Please allow me to speak.
You are the one speaking.
What I'm reacting to is this: that you said you explained to the viewers and you told them.
Say what you want to say.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't talk about what you said to the viewers. What is Obi's
I'm reacting to what you said. You told us that
we will remain here today. You cannot
the reason why Obi's government will be worse is simply because there is a cabal. And I'm not telling you about the record of Obi. That cabal could not hold him in the state.
What are Obi's past
cabal could not hold him in Nigeria because people like me will be on the streets. What are you telling me?
What are Obi's past
people like me will be on the streets. If there were to be somebody, Obi will come as a president and say this is the cabal. That cabal everybody is afraid of to expose. If Obi said this is the cabal, we know what to do to the cabal.
Obi, who is
no government can be powerful than the people.
Wait, let me ask you a question. Is it the
no government can be more powerful than the people.
Let me ask you. Is it the same Obi who is running away from internal crisis in the party?
Oh, he's running away from internal crisis.
Yes,
that is manufactured by APC.
Okay, welcome back. I'm having Dr. Christopher Ilogo, Solomon Patrick, and Kadiri Precious. So today we'll be talking about Nigerian. So as a Nigerian, living in Nigeria, we all know the current situation of the country. So I want to ask Kadiri Precious here, I'll be starting with you, to give us what has been your experience as a Nigerian, living in Nigeria so far.
My experience living in Nigeria, I think my experience will be same with every other Nigerian. It has been problematic. In fact, the cost of living is killing the living. You know, we have never had it like this before in this country. Things are quite expensive. I was discussing with a friend of mine the other day, and I told him, I said, for example, I have a business, a small business I'm managing. The cost of power alone is crazy. Seriously crazy. You know, years ago I could get fuel for 2,000 naira. I would get up to 20-liter fuel. The time we even complaining for this Buhari administration, who said we are going to miss him, and I believe we already miss him now.
Very true.
You know, but today with to get that same 20,000 naira, you wouldn't get up to how many liters today, and so it's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, very well. So let's hear from our doctor in the house. What do you have to say so far about a Nigerian living in the country?
When he was talking, he said, like every other Nigerian, I beg to differ. Because one, I'm not every other Nigerian. Secondly, I'm not feeling it the way you are feeling it. Because we have different statuses. I'm a retired man. I live in a rural area, in a village. I don't have much needs. And so my life has even become more beautiful than before. Although I had 6 cars, I sold off 4. The 2 I have, I hardly drive them. The issue now has been the batteries running down. So what I do once in 2 days, I go into one, I drive around my village, and I come back. That's why That is not to say I'm not mindful of what is going on in the country generally. The only thing I want to differ with you on is the fact that it's not like every other person.
Okay.
Some of us, not only are we exempted from such demands, we also try to cut. You see, adaptation is one mechanism that God has given to nature. And its adaptation applies to every situation. It's not even right to say that we have never had it like this. We have had it worse.
I don't think so.
I remember, sorry about the storytelling, my father, to buy a bicycle was a challenge. And to pay my school fees of 1 shilling was a challenge. I dropped out of college because of 10 naira, body school, everything, 10 naira for the 10. I dropped out of the university again because of 300 naira for the year. So things have always been tough at different stages. I am sure. My mother tells me during the time before Awolowo was read, they had a disease they call what? She could not even cure that thing. They can't. I mean, it was not easy to buy ice fish in the 60s, in the 70s. You may have to sell so many of your crop to be able to buy ice fish. So it's not today, it has been there. It's just that we have social media now, the noise is much. There's no country I've been to where they don't complain. In the US, people are bitter. Do you know, they say we are better than them now because Nigeria is the savior of Africa in terms of energy, in terms of petrol. In the US, because it increased by $1.50, everybody is calling for the neck of Trump. Everybody is complaining. In Canada, it is worse. My children are crying. So I told them, come back here, I work here, and see what it is like to face economic adversity. So what I think our approach should always be patience and adaptation. Let's make adjustment. Yes, things are tougher than before. If we do understand the government and the direction of the policies, we should be able to show some level of understanding and bear the tough times, because tough times don't last, Napoleon Hill. They don't last. Life is a journey of hills and valleys. I repeat, there's no country in the world without challenges. You will be shocked that in Dubai, people are still crying. In Saudi Arabia, people are complaining. In Australia, people are protesting. In the US, people are protesting. So, let's calmly address the issue of our economic adversity and learn to adapt. The only solution is that, one, the government can't do otherwise. You can't just print notes or manufacture gold. You can't grow food overnight. The only thing we should be talking to the government to tackle is the issue of insecurity and out-of-school children. The essence of being a human being is to be able to adapt, resist, have grit, and dominate the situation you find yourself. Thank you.
All right, sir. So let's hear for Senator. What you have to say?
Okay, from the boss, thank you for having me here again. It's a wonderful time when I come across especially people of like minds. And I continue to tell my brother, my friend here, that anytime it is as though anytime you are not supporting or you are not speaking against the government, it means you are in support of the government and their policy. And I want to ask again, show me a country where the price of commodity as at 5 years ago is still the price of commodity today. Point a country for me, and I will tell you. And most of the time, people don't really emphasize on some of the things I want to hear. Where population tends to sometimes affect the economic situation of a country. I was taught in economics during my secondary school days that most times when the demands are high, the price of commodity tends to go up. So those are some of the few things I just want to add to the conversation that has alluded.
Okay, so I will go back to Precious, Kadiri Precious here. So I've listened to our doctor here and Senator. From the way our doctor speak, he balanced everything in the sense that he's not here, neither here. Do you get? But I think our senator is in support of this present administration. So far, I don't think they've been able to give us what they promised. So do you have anything to say about what they say so far?
I think we should be able to, as a people, government to their promises or their responsibility, as it were. Okay. If we continue to excuse government by the statement of that every other country has maybe inflation, but Nigeria inflation cannot be compared to these other countries that you are mentioning. Because, for example, in today's Nigeria, the minimum wage that we have in this country, I don't think anybody can survive by it. Because a bag of rice, you know the price today in the market. And if you are paid that minimum wage from government, how do you survive? And then when you compare also these other foreign countries, where they have it better. There's no way we can compare this country to those foreign countries. I want to hear those indices, but to say on inflation, for example, I don't think that is fair to say that the inflation that is happening in the US, for example, is the same to be compared to the same inflation that is happening here in Nigeria. You know, whether it has to do with the value of our currency or the fuel that everybody needs for power and what have you. You know, there's no basis to compare. And I think we must hold government. If we do not hold government accountable to their responsibility, whether it is security or otherwise, you know, they are in charge of everything at the end of the day. You know, government is in charge. Government is in charge. If business is going to do well in this country, you know, government is in charge. And of course, I can excuse my daddy here with the statement he made that he's not like every other Nigerian. Of course, you know, he's far much older than myself. I'm at the stage where I need to, you know, make end meet for my family and what have you. Of course, he has spent more time and, you know, I'm able to gather better than myself. You understand what I'm saying? But what is the hope for the Nigerian youth? You know, what hope do I have living in this country today? You know, a lot of persons today around my age bracket are running, they are escaping. And I think if anybody seated here is given the opportunity, maybe exception to our doctor here, yes, you know, we won't grab it. We'll run away. We'll run away from this country. We'll run away from the killings that is happening everywhere today. We'll run away. It is the failure of government. And we cannot separate insecurity from hunger. It's not possible. Because a hungry man will definitely steal. A hungry man will definitely kill. Of course, these are not to excuse the hungry man, but everybody is not going to hold to the same morality as yourself. And therefore, if government needs insecurity to go down, one of the ways they are going to reduce insecurity is by making sure that we can afford the basic needs of life. What we are begging government for today, sir, I can tell you, is basics. Good roads, power, you know, basics.
Those are basic things
that we need.
They don't need to promise us what they need.
And government has not been able to deliver on any of this. Okay.
So, sorry to cut you short. I want to ask our doctor, before you say something, sir. You said during back then in 70s and 60s that to buy ice fish is very difficult. You have to sell a lot of your crops to raise money to buy it. Did you know that, sir, sorry to say, your generation failed us in the sense that your generation were unable to hold the government accountable of their errors. Okay, I remember back then, there used to be a free education. Late President Muhammadu Buhari stopped this free education. You people enjoyed Nigerian. We as the youth of Nigeria, we have no hope, no life, and we have never enjoyed anything in this country, sir.
Well, like I said, maybe because I'm older, I always lap upon my experience in life. Life itself is a partnership. I want us to see life generally as a partnership. Leadership and followership. It's so easy, so pedestrian to point fingers at the leadership. Whereas every leadership is a reflection of the followership.
People.
You cannot have a Korean come to Nigeria to be the president. It's a Nigerian that will be the president. And every Nigerian leader, we had to type according to the followership, the environment it comes from. So it's all about partnership. And the issue of, like you rightly pointed out, that my generation has failed you.
Yes, sir.
Every generation has always blamed the previous generation for their woes. Starting from the foundation of time, Adam blamed God. First of all, Adam was looking at animals mating in the garden, wishing that he was like them. And God was watching every day. God will watch the guy holding his crutches as he's watching goats and cows mating. So he made him to fall asleep and decided to do his bidding by creating a woman for him. And the first thing he did when he fell short of expectation was to blame God. He says, the woman you gave me. So God is now the first generation. And Adam is the second. And today we're also blaming Adam for the fall of man. So why can't we, like I kept saying, and just like he said that there is no country in the world where people do not cry of dissatisfaction. The only difference is attitude. Attitude. Talking of resources and talking of other countries, I like to revisit this for the purpose of education. The population of Qatar is 750, less than a million people. Even the so-called Libya, less than 3 million people. I can go on and on. I said the population of the entire Arab world is about 90 million people. Iran alone.
Excluded Iran.
No, Iran is not an Arab country.
Okay.
It's a partially, they are different. Iran is 90 million. But Iran is almost so big, bigger than Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
And very rich in everything, including, we are talking of deep sea port. Their own God created deep sea port for them, including that Strait of Hormuz, including the various islands, laden with gas and oil, and then agriculture, Mediterranean, where everything is right with Iran. Yet the population is 90 million. And then, I made reference to lack of education. They have some of the best educated people around the world. It's the country with the highest number of female doctors in the world. Iran, where people wear hijab. Their women are the most educated in the world, especially in medical specialization. Can you imagine that? But look at our population. Resources, like you rightly said, demand and supply. Resources must match with population. No, that is the truth. And even when you have it, if you don't have the right population to process, they say factors of production, capital, land, and then entrepreneurship. Yeah. That entrepreneurship is the most important because it is the human being that combines the other factor and convert them to wealth. Otherwise, if you have gold under you, it's nothing. You don't have gold. If you have oil under you, you don't have anything. If you don't have the capacity to exploit that resource, you are as good as poor. So Nigeria has a population that is not productive. And the productive segment of the population, they don't have issues. They don't have issues. The productive segment of the population. I have a bishop, Bishop Oyedepo, he usually says that there's no country without paupers, without extremely poor people, and there's no country without billionaires. Somalia, that they were starving. The richest man in Africa, Mohammed, is from Somalia. He set up the leadership, this thing that the best leader in Africa wins about $25 million. Leadership Foundation. The person is from the poorest country in Africa. There's no country without its own billionaires, the rich, and its own poor people. If I go through the United States, California specifically, you see beautiful beggars under the streets. I was in Mickey Hotel in Paris by Eiffel Tower, and I see white blonde girls who are beggars. When I'm going out, they beg me for just a coin. Beautiful white girls. I see beautiful white girls living under the bridge in California, in Washington, DC, everywhere. So what that tells you is that there are poor people everywhere. Canada, I see men, well, white, not black, on the roadside begging. And then you have Nigerians driving Porsche cars in those countries. So Bishop says there's no country without the poor, very poor, even in Jesus Christ's time. And there's no country without the rich, no matter how poor that country is, it has billionaires. So it's all about attitude, education, and the quality of the population. Number one, Nigeria's population is too high. And there's no policy. There's no policy plan because of religious sensitivity towards putting a check on the population. People keep challenging me, insulting me on social media when I say Saudi Arabia, a Muslim country, is one man, one wife. It's like that in all the Arab countries except Nigeria. The reason is that the Quran says if you marry 4 wives, you must love them equally. What it means is that it's not possible to love 2 people equally. And so they don't want to break the law of their book. And so they restrict themselves to 1 wife and good education for their children. What do we have in Nigeria? Almajiri is roaming the street. A man that is lying under the cherry tree playing eating cola is having 7 wives, 4 wives, and having 29, 30 children without education and sending them to one man to be sleeping outside and be begging for food about. And these are the people we turn out to be bandits, hoodlums, terrorists, hoodlums. Those lucky recently they went haywire. We are breaking cars, all the lovely cars. They are breaking them for nothing. So this is the problem. Unless we face the problem of Nigeria head on, we shall continue to wail and wail and wail. I want to remind everybody that Jonathan, under his term, under his tenure, fuel was how much? 150. It wasn't even up to. He tried to raise it. Everybody went on the street, and then came Buhari. Now, you are missing Buhari. Nobody is mentioning Jonathan because fuel price increased by about 900% when Buhari came in from Jonathan's price, and then Tinubu's own increased by about 500%. So, and then the next government, you say we are not holding government to their responsibility. What power do you have? Is it not to change the government? What assurance do you have that the next one will not be worse than Tinubu? Thank you.
Sorry to cut you short.
I don't know if I can probably respond to some of the things that you mentioned. You know, I think population can be good.
Yes.
And can also be bad. In fact, the determining factor of whether population will be good or bad is still government policy. It's still government control.
Sorry, it's not totally government control. You don't expect government, excuse me, you don't expect government to provide for 1,000 children.
They can.
They cannot.
Nigerians will object that as well.
Subject to resources.
They can. But let us say, for example, that
it happened with China. Okay, he said it happened with China.
No, sir.
What of the one-child policy? What of the one-child policy?
You know, let me say something to that. You know, you talked about the quality of our population.
Yes, now quality.
That we are not educated. Whose fault is that?
The government.
No, if your father cannot pay your school fees, what will happen?
Can I ask you a question?
In fact, I do believe that. See, I have a.
Don't let me ask you one single question.
Go ahead.
We are on the same scale, earning the same amount. If I have 20 children and you have 2, what will be the quality of the children? We are earning the same thing. Government is taking care of me, paying me the same salary with yours. But government did not participate in you producing those children, 20 children. And you want government to take responsibility for the 18. I have 2. I have 20, you have 2.
Government should be able to.
No! If we encourage everybody to produce 200 children, anything without control.
We can encourage them.
Even God said we should control.
What do you say about China? With the population of China today, 1.3 billion people.
I've been to China.
And you are telling me today that it's our population that is the cause of the problem. It is a failure of government.
You asked me a question about China.
You know, it's a failure of government. There is no way we can exonerate this government.
Chinese will watch me on this podcast.
We cannot exonerate the government.
No, I'm going to talk about China because I've been there several times. Now, you talked about China.
The population.
That's what I want to address.
Yes.
When Mao Zedong came in, the first thing he brought into this thing is population control.
You are saying the same thing that I'm saying. You said government cannot bring in population control. And you have also said that China did that.
I did not say government cannot. I said the followership. The problem is with the followership. Excuse me, let me land. The other day, there was going to be a constitutional review of electoral bill. So people came up saying we'll be fasting then. The government bowed. Fasting is supposed to be a personal thing and a sacrifice. You cannot sacrifice personally. Okay, so because you are fasting, they should not pass a bill that will bring election during fasting. And incidentally, that fast will coincide with the Christian fasting. And yes, a segment of the population held the government by the jungula and prevented election during fasting. That's how sensitive it is. Nigerians don't want population control. They would rather vote in than voting an angel who is going to touch their appetite for and reproduction. So we are largely responsible for our problem. You mentioned China. They introduced one-child policy. And recently, they are trying to reverse it now because the many adults then who now had one child, male, female, mother, father, one child. They are now old. And you have one child to two old people. So it became a problem. And then those who didn't even have any child at all, one child to 5 old people. And then those children have themselves become adults. They have less children. So they are trying to reverse it now. The problem with the difference between Nigeria and China is that in China, we don't have this freedom to criticize government, to vote or to say no. It is what the government says. That's what everybody does. And in China, as developed as they claim it is, old women of 65, 70, 80, 95 are still toiling in the field, working for themselves. Any child that is 18 is roaming the street, out homeless. Well, let me use that word. The parent will throw the child out to go and struggle for itself. China. So,
do you agree with me that population is not the problem of Nigeria? Because China has the population of Nigeria. You are saying the same thing.
In a context, you cannot generalize.
Okay.
In a context, Nigerians don't want population to be controlled.
As simple as that.
And so, whatever they get, let them take
it. China that has that massive population, it has more or less become a blessing to them.
Obey.
Why?
For instance, corruption in China.
What we should be discussing.
If you have found a lecturer or a civil servant to have misappropriated Naira, you are executed.
So do you understand that government is the problem? They are able to put their government in check.
No, it's the flow.
We must hold government.
In Nigeria, they said terrorists should not be executed.
Who is saying?
Oh, are you not?
You will say you are talking about the government. Who is saying?
The people.
Am I the one who said it is not the people?
Want to win election.
Who owns the guns? Wait. What I want you to understand is no. I need to speak because I wanted to allow doctor to.
No, don't allow me. Put it in context.
I need to speak to it. I don't think population is the problem of this country. In fact, I think that if we have the right government who creates the right policies,
let me give
I do believe that this population will be a blessing to us.
You say you are young.
We can export.
You have children.
So they look around. China is everywhere.
Hold on. I hope
that population you say is a problem.
You have children they are in school. Wait, you have children they are in school. You are paying school fees. That you differentiated between me and you just now. I don't have school fees to pay. I have only one child that is in school. The rest are working. They are giving me money.
Yes.
So to that extent, I have only one child to train. If you have 2, 3 to train, will things not be harder for you? That's population now.
Yes.
Even if you get double my salary, you will still.
So what I'm doing, I'm investing. The time will come, those children, when they have been trained,
let's take life generally as investment.
I'll become like you. Nigeria refuse to put the right policy on ground for our population to be a blessing. That's what I'm saying.
I think we are not understanding each other here.
I want to ask a doctor one question. So, doctor, so far, will you say these APC governments are working in this country? Are they working, or are they giving us what they promised to give us? They have been in power for the past.
For example, because the president promised us
life. Let me answer the last question first. APC government is not giving to us what they promised to give us, and no government has done that before APC, and even after. Even the US, Trump promised no war. But war is going on now. You cannot make policies outside.
I think Trump promised to make peace.
That's what I just said. He promised not to make war.
He said to make peace.
He promised not to make war, but to make peace. But necessity warranted him now
I don't know if
to
you
be
get what I
making
just
war.
said.
No, one of his campaign promises is that there will be no war.
No, he promised to make peace.
Is peace not the absence of war?
No, because he said he's going to make peace. It doesn't mean he's attacking.
This is not a loaf of bread. It's a condition of no war.
There were existing war. Trump promised he was going to,
That's what I am saying. But what is he doing now?
Yeah, I think I'll be able to bring you peace to.
No, he's waging a war.
Yes.
He promised when he was campaigning outside government that he will bring. But when he got to the seat, war became necessary for him to execute. So, to your question, is the APC government doing what they promised now? For instance, light? No. But there are other things they are doing. Restructuring. And restructuring is painful. It's just like doing a surgery to correct a defect. It's very painful. I read yesterday that police college will deal. They will bring a branch to Oshu. School of Aviation, they will bring a branch to Akwa Ibom, and then another one somewhere in Ogun State or Ondo State. And people are resisting, protesting, that they should not even try to bring NDA to the south. They should not bring anything. Is that right? So there should be only one school. And people will travel from the end of Nigeria down the road with this Boko Haram and bandits. So we should not, bring school closer. We should not increase the number of schools. Now admission for police college is 1,000. But by the new introduction, 1,000 out of 60,000 applicants. Now there will be room for at least 6,000 to be admitted. Nigerians are protesting. You say the government is not doing anything. They are doing things that may not be visible now. People are planting yams now, but there are no new yams. So until the yams grow, you weed it, you nurture it, then you harvest. So it's not everything that government does that you see the immediate results. Like they say, it's better to teach people to learn to fish than to keep giving people fish. I know where you are coming from. Your only angle now is the fact that there is hardship. Yes, why would there not be
serious hardship? I've never seen something like before.
How could you have seen it before? How could you have seen it before? How could you have seen it before when you have not seen tomorrow before? It's every day that has its own challenges.
So are you more or less telling me today that you believe, or you would rather have that Nigeria, the future of Nigeria to be more difficult than as we have today?
No, understand my thought process. The fact remains that nobody wishes for adversity, but it comes anyway. In my opening statement, I say life is full of up and down. Hills are valleys. That is just the reality of life. There are bound to be challenges, and the world is changing. The climate is changing. Things are changing that we cannot even reverse. So the moment you settle your mind with the fact that there are going to come days of adversity, even religious books predicted these times, then the better you make arrangement with yourself to adjust your mindset. Because if you don't, there's what we call frustration. It can lead to depression. It can lead to various psychosomatic diseases. So it is important now. My message is that we prepare ourselves to challenges, because tomorrow we are here now. We don't know what can happen any minute from now. There can be a lunar explosion. Anything can happen. Yesterday cannot be the same as today, and today cannot be the same as tomorrow. Economic adversity all over the world. Prices are rising. Inflation is rising all over the world. Especially in climes where there is overpopulation. Check the whole world. Anywhere as big as Australia, the population of Australia is not even up to a quarter of that of Nigeria. You can travel from here to Kano in Australia. You won't even see any town, any village in Australia. And it's all beautiful land, agricultural land. They have enough. Go to New Zealand. Everywhere is silent. And you have sheep, animal, meat, times 6 of human beings. So, the problem is population. And blaming the government has a problem with me. Because a goat is not going to be our president. It's me and you.
In this situation, we even prefer to have a goat as our... Yes, it has. So I want to ask a question. Why is APC government more interested in winning 2027 election than the present issues in Nigeria?
Every politician's desire is to win election, whether Nigeria, US, or anywhere.
But they said, our president said it openly, that if he could not provide electricity for Nigeria, they should not vote for him.
I told you that.
He's using solar.
What I would say, you asked not the first government to do that.
You
all of them have been doing that.
I was expecting that maybe we're going to consolidate on that discussion. That whether this APC government has been able to fulfill the promises that they made.
They did not.
The truth of the matter is that, yes, as you have said, they have totally failed. But I will not take it that, my challenge here, waiting the prepare me for body as we discuss for you now, is the fact that we are trying to remove government from the picture.
No,
it's not possible.
We can't.
It's not possible. There are things we cannot do.
Remove
I have delegated the president.
Can we remove
on my behalf acts? So they tax us.
Okay.
What have you? We cannot remove government from a
if we remove you and me, government will not have problem. Nigeria will be developed because the money will be enough for them to siphon and fly. And
I think there will be no money. Where would the money come from? Whatever money that government has today is coming from me and you and our resources. Who is going to? Where is government going to get money from?
Which resources?
Is Tinubu going to go and collect the oil that is in Niger Delta, or is he going to go and farm? What will he get? It needs human power. Therefore,
this podcast is meant to educate people who do not have your privilege. It's not always good for us to mislead these young people coming up. And government is packing money. Government is doing this. Government is doing that.
Government is not packing money. They are borrowing as though
failed.
Oh God!
In the area of promise for provision of power, NEPA, whatever.
Is that all?
No.
Insecurity.
I'm going one by one. I'm using one as an example. They were unable to fulfill that promise because the reality is it is not possible. Wow! But it is not possible
if they cannot provide the children, then the president should be out of that office and allow people who can. The issue we have, Nigeria is under siege.
Hold on.
Nigeria is under siege.
This podcast is for education.
Sir, Nigeria is under siege.
Just hold on.
If the president cannot provide electricity, let him be out of that place.
My thought process.
He should be kicked out.
He should be out of there.
I have no objection to that. But let me say something so that next year you will not lament more when it's kicked out.
Yes.
The fact is that even if we have a government that can provide us electricity 24 hours in the whole country within the 3 months or 3 years or 4 years he has spent, it is not just possible with any government in the world because these distributed towers have to be manufactured. The iron has to be dug up and made into steel. And all the equipment resources have to be manufactured. Who will manufacture them and even dash them to Nigeria? Who can meet up with that capacity?
What about what Poti is doing in the state at the state level? He has been able to. He's even saying he's going to leave the national grid now.
Wait,
I think the Abians would
wait now. I like to work with statistics.
Yes.
The entire southeast is smaller than Niger as a state.
Where the resources available to the president is also larger than the one available to the state government.
No.
Wait.
There's one called revenue allocation in Nigeria.
Yes.
The federal government takes a percentage.
Yes.
47%. The state takes 52%.
Yes.
And it's the federal government that is responsible for all the ministries, including those that generate the revenue. So, and it's the federal government. We have Federal Protective Auchi. We have Federal Protective Ida. We have Federal Protective Kotangora. We have Federal Protective. Then we have Federal University. Then we have Nigeria Army. Then we have Nigeria Police. We have Federal. It's the federal government that take. But for Abia State, where you have OT, is it Abia State?
Yes.
Abia State. Where you have OT,
yes.
It's just that small state,
okay,
that he is taking care of, and the money is using is being. Part of it, apart from Nigeria, is being allocated by the federal government.
Yes.
Who allocates to the federal government? The IGRO of the federal government, the IGRO of the federal government is what is distributed to both the federal government, the state, the local government, and then the.
But the federal government gets the bulk. If I say government, sir, I'm not likely even talking about Tinubu alone. If the other governors, for example, my governor of Edo State,
didn't you hear when I said?
Were to do
didn't you hear? I say it's good to listen to one another.
Yes.
Did you hear when I said Abia State has no Abia Polytechnic in Edo State. Abia State has no university in Benin. Abia State has no University of Lagos. So if it takes the bulk, it's because it has the bulk of the responsibility. We are talking of fighting Boko Haram now. The Nigerian army is doing that. The police is doing that. Is it Abia State that is responsible for the Nigerian army?
So I just said now that if what is happening in Abia State can be replicated here in Edo State by the state government. When we say government, we are not necessarily talking about the federal government.
But all you have been talking about is federal.
No, I have said government. I feel we will hold government, even down to
what of your local government?
Yes, now because money is not getting to them. So my challenge is this, sir, that you have told us that.
Don't say that.
We should do.
To them.
Yes, money is not going to the local government. You have another.
You know why they are handicapped?
They're handicapped.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you been close to any local government chairman, anyone that you know?
I'm not close to those people.
When his daughter is wedding, they will invite him. When my father dies, I will invite him.
So he takes that one over.
The problem of Nigeria is largely from the followership. Unless there's a revolution.
They've talked
a revolution of attitude, culture, and otherwise. It is from the people. And by the time the revolution, like in France, the masses rose against the king. They beheaded him. And then they set the rules. Anybody, just like even China you are talking about, there was a revolution. Mao came in. If you touch another person's daughter, execution. If you touch yam, that's not your execution. If you touch one, if you are found drink, do you know, I was in Paris the other day. In the afternoon, I invited some Nigerians to take me out. And we went into a hotel and I want to drink Star. They said, no, they will arrest you. You cannot drink Star during work. In any hotel, in any place, anywhere. You cannot drink alcohol. The police will come and pick you up in that hotel and shut down the hotel. France, democratic country, Western Europe.
The government.
I was shocked. I never heard about that. No, it's what the people agreed to. It's what the people agreed to. For instance, they say Tinubu want a one-party Nigeria. He's doing this. Who is he putting gun on everybody here to be one party?
Yes, so
he's doing everything.
Not a literal gun,
excuse me. The earlier we understand, the better. He's doing what every politician
we know what
and it's because of our greed.
Yes.
And I saw the gathering of ADC. All of them. David Mark was said to have 67 billion in an account in the US. That Buhari refused to do anything about.
Dollars,
not Naira. $67 billion with the account number. And he's there. City. They are killing his people. No water. It's an Otupo.
They never even addressed anything concerning it.
It's an association of frustrated thief. Oh my God.
No doubt.
All of them, I saw them on TV. None of them is clean. Okay. The only grievance is that they are not in power.
Obi is clean. Obi is clean.
You know, Obi relatively is the one I actually love, but it's not clean.
It's clean.
It's not clean.
We don't need a saint in this country. We don't need saint anywhere.
You say somebody should be clean, and yet you say don't need
people who you know what I mean relatively. People who
but he was governor of Anambra State.
People who did it in
excuse me, he was
people
governor
who
of
did it in China.
What did Anambra become that is better than anywhere else?
You are going to blame Obi for the current state of Anambra State after how many governors?
Can the camera face me?
Yes,
sir.
Obi will be worse than Tinubu. Let me be publicly executed. If what I'm saying now is wrong, is going to fail.
Okay.
Obi will not perform like Tinubu. I don't like Tinubu. I'm a Christian. Tinubu is a Muslim and he ran on a Muslim ticket. I voted for Obi and against Tinubu. But Tinubu is far better than Obi's presidency. Why? Tinubu has a constituency, major constituency that can back him to fight the mafias that are controlling Nigeria's destiny. The cabal that is holding you keep blaming. You cannot do anything when Obi gets there. He won't be able to do anything. He won't be able to do 1/100 of what Tinubu is doing now because he has no militant constituency. His constituency is very Republican.
So we have now moved to the constituency.
His constituency is very excuse me. His constituency is very Republican. Where you bring money, you sell your mother. I'm sorry, I'm not offending any tribe. You convert to any religion, you are giving money. I don't know whether you watch a video in which a local government chairman was assaulted, beaten up in a hotel just a few days ago. It's a local government chairman. You don't do that in the north, you don't do that in this place, you don't do that anywhere. Every local government chairman will worship him, but in the southeast, they beat him up to pop. So they are very Republican. They are so free. They can go to any direction. Obi doesn't have that. If Obi's family, you will see NDC, NND people, you will see APC, you will see PDP, you will see NPDP, you will see PRP, you will see. That is how the Easterners are. So Obi has no background except we, the obedience, Lagos. And what Tinubu has is a keg of gunpowder. Not even the Fulani Caliphate can toy with him. Hold on. I'm talking. You said I'm older than you. I'm telling you about politics because you don't seem to understand Nigerian politics.
I think I do.
Just like Buhari.
I do.
When Buhari was there,
I don't want to understand.
You dare not touch him because of his constituency. He was even promoting all manner of.
Yes.
See, I don't want to say this on camera. He even said, if Jonathan doesn't win, the street will flow with blood of baboons, meaning he has brought in terrorists to kill and kill.
He's dead today.
Who can, excuse me, Obi cannot say that. Tinubu can say, Emilokon is my turn, and the settlement will flow to his tribe. Nigeria has a problem. This multiplicity of tribes, I'm sure I've addressed this before. No country can develop unless there's a uniform ethos. I've been saying this. Show me one country, the US, that developed with heterogeneity, different races, based her development on the ethos of freedom. That one is not there anymore. So US is scattering. That's why you see people try to kill Trump. People, Republicans on one side, Democrats on the other side. US is going down because people are now over using that.
I want to say something about what you have said. You said that you are sure that if Obi's presidency were to come into place, that he would do worse.
He won't be able to do anything, which is worse.
He won't be able to do anything.
He can't.
Because of the structure that he doesn't have.
Number one, the cabal.
He doesn't have cabal support.
No, the powerful cabal that controls every government in Nigeria.
Okay,
even if you bring a Gabriel,
yes,
it will be worse than this president.
But who is helping Tinubu?
Secondly, Obi does not have a united background, cabal that can defend him.
We are the united cabal.
That can say, if you touch him with that.
Sir, we are the united cabal.
Did they not fight the Southeast? Have they allowed them? People keep boasting. So, okay, let's wait now whether ADC will choose him. Obi is better than any other politician I've known in my lifetime, apart from Awolowo. But if he can get there at all, his hands will be tied like this. They will ask him to sign a code that will make him not do anything unless because he wants power. He will sign it.
That's what this government have already signed.
Tinubu did the same thing. That's why it's not as fast as you want. But he's aware that he has his constituency to fall back to. The Yoruba nation, the Oduduwa nation. In the event of Nigeria breaking up, he has a formidable nation to fall back to.
Nigerians to fall to.
Which Nigeria to fall to?
That doesn't say the truth.
If you not even get votes like you got the last time.
I think we have to. Well, I should be able to.
No, you are making points. Actually, you are the one setting the agenda now. Everything you are saying is what we are reacting to.
I think, sir, Obi will be able to perform very well. Because why? The majority of Nigeria. If any government were to be
the majority of Nigeria
will be in support of that government. Because a government today who, for example, settles the problem of power or settles the problem of insecurity, I think that government will be celebrated everywhere and anywhere.
How will it be
celebrated? And if you talk about that, there's going to be a cap. There is no cap. These are just statements of the political elite to keep us in the dark.
No, I don't believe that.
Because the government, you can't tell me that a government who has all the power that there is in this country, Nigeria, has a cabal somewhere.
If I carry stick now hit your head, which government is going to prevent me?
I think this is an excuse of the political elite. And I do believe, excuse me, and I want to give an excuse. You know, when we talk about Obi, you know, the reason why I love Obi as a person, I would not have been this interested in the person of Obi, is because of
his past record. And he has always pointed everybody to his past record. And if we want to look about what will happen in the future, we can also look at the past record.
Which past record?
Yes. When Obi was governor of that state, all the House of Assembly were not from his party. Those were not Kaba in the state.
Is that his record?
See, I'm talking about that. Excuse me now. Let me make my statement.
Go straight to your.
You won't allow me talk.
No, you are the only one talking.
Because you make what I'm reacting to.
What is Obi's record?
What I'm reacting
now?
I'm coming. What I'm reacting
Give
to.
us your analysis.
Please allow me to speak.
You are the one speaking.
What I'm reacting to is this: that you said you were speaking to the viewers and you told them.
Say what you want to say.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't talk about what you said to the viewers. What is Obi's
I'm reacting to what you said. You told us that
we will remain here
will be
today.
worse. And the reason why Obi's government will be worse is simply because there is a Kaba. And I'm not telling you about the record of Obi. That Kaba could not hold him in the state.
What are
so therefore, that Kaba will not hold him in Nigeria. Because people like me will be on the streets. What are you telling me?
What are Obi's
people like me will be on the streets. If there were to be somebody, Obi will come as a president and say, this is the Kaba. That Kaba, everybody is afraid of to expose. If Obi said this is the Kaba, we know what to do to the Kaba.
Obi, who is
no government can be powerful than the people.
Wait, let me ask you a question. Is it the
no government can be more powerful than the people.
Let me ask you. Is it the same Obi who is running away from internal crisis in the party?
Oh. He's run away from internal crisis.
Yes,
that is manufactured by APC.
The problem of Nigeria is not manufactured by
you are manufacturing the problem there. You say
everybody will APC.
He must be on that ticket.
Tomorrow, if Nigeria is on that
ADC. Maybe the advice I should be giving to ADC is this. Make sure you give Obi the ticket and leave the rest for us.
Let me quickly.
I want to ask Senator first. Before you go, I want to ask you one.
I wanted to.
He has not been listed Obi's past record.
No,
you but I want to ask you first, because I see you are much interested in this present administration.
No.
Or let me say, is it administration? Should we call it era? Because I think it's like a military regime.
Okay.
So
no, I think I beg to correct you. Before he made a statement, he said his opinions are based on his understanding and observation, and that they should not be mistaken as support for the ruling government.
Exactly.
Okay.
So how can you, because a man holds opinion that today is Monday, you said because the government said today is Monday, is supporting the government?
I also have my opinion.
That is because I will give rules because everybody is entitled to their own.
I also have an opinion that you export of the government now.
So,
okay.
Let me
Nobody has a right to support.
I leave it to your subconscious. I leave it to your subconscious.
So far, you said since Tinubu has not been able to tackle electricity, what has he done? Insecurity is there. He promised to give Nigeria coastal highway from Lagos to Calabar. It has not left Lagos for 3 years. It has not even gotten to Ogun
No, they
State.
started it from two sides.
It has not gotten to Ogun State.
How can he get there? They are voting in the parliament now. They vote money for
the
it.
past 3
The
years.
money where he reach, they stop there now.
The money they borrowed so far, what are they doing with the money?
Yes.
They
So
are doing
if he
the
has not been able to, okay,
Ask this
we're not
government.
asking him to give us everything. Just one thing. What has he done for us? No security, no lights, no road,
But he's not
no
a spokesman
education.
for
What has Tinubu done? What has he done for Nigeria so far?
When last did you hear of ASU strike?
ASU strike.
Yes.
Wonderful.
When last did we? Are you aware that all schools in Nigeria now they are on the high side?
Are you
now?
serious?
Who is paying the fees? It's not Nigeria.
Yes.
So what's your concern there?
They increase it in order to end this.
There was a strike. That was how they even brought in this minimum wage now.
I checked.
Okay.
Yeah, everywhere has been silent with ASU.
Okay, before you before how much were you paying?
That's not the issue.
How much were you paying before?
I was paying about as at the time I newly came into for my HND program. I was paying up to 60,000 per
How
se.
much are they paying now?
I'm not currently aware, but
Around
probably
100
because of
thousand.
inflation.
Okay, 150,000
Yes.
compared to 60,000. So
Yes.
what are they doing? We
That's
are even
three.
paying the government.
At a point in Algipoli, in the 80s, they were paying the students bursary. There was no school fees, but they were paying each
That is
student
what I'm saying. Your
bursary.
generation.
So things are changing.
Nigeria.
No, your generation is failing the generation of.
No, that is why I'm talking the way I'm talking now. We will own government. We will not fail the next generation. We will own government. Or at least it will be said that we hate government.
Yes.
At least the next generation
No,
will
it's
know
not just
that
the whole
persons
government.
like obedient.
What
to
have
God
you done?
in the face of
It begins
this
with you.
administration?
What have you done to improve the country you met?
That's why we are fighting.
I'm speaking.
To kick.
I would
this man out
vote.
of
No,
power.
anybody can speak.
Yes, I
Who
would vote
done
for the
that?
right candidate. I don't carry money.
Yes.
I know they collect money for election.
So now-
and they vote for the right candidate.
Precious,
Okay.
I beg you to give me one thing Tinubu has done for Nigeria.
Say I'm so strike.
I wish
Just
I had,
ask a question.
I feel
Don't-
There was a strike now in this administration. I
No,
want
no,
to
no,
say
no. It's not. He brought it to.
Exactly. You see,
Under Buhari, we know how long the strike lasts.
exactly.
Okay.
I checked as at
There has not been any strike this
administration.
allow me to. As at 3-4 days
Maybe you can fact check that.
As at 3-4 days ago, I was checking certain statistics for each state and how much states are owing, and how much the governors of the states have been able to clear some of the debt.
Enter online.
And I saw the difference. Although some states they were able to clear, some states were able to clear even at least just 5% or 10% is remaining. And I regurgitated about the revenue from the federal government to the state. Now somebody was talking a few days ago and he said Alex Oti, who people are clamoring for, that is doing this, is doing that. So also a governor in another state, and he made emphasis. He said the reason why Alex Oti is everywhere is he has people in the media who publishes what he does and the rest. Okay. So therefore, because other governors don't have people who do these things, they believe they are not working. I remember a time Edo State, before when Oshomole took over as the governor of Edo State. After everything Oshomole did in Edo State, there are still people who came out to say Oshomole did nothing.
They are still condemning him till now.
Till tomorrow, they are condemning him. And I continue to say, remember the last one.
That's the reason they voted for him. That's where he is today.
It's our people who voted for him, not the whole state.
We will get to that. You remember a few time ago, I went on this same podcast, I said Nigerians were Oliver Twist. We always ask for more. Yes. During the time of Goodluck Jonathan, we said Yar'Adua was the best president. This and that, we clamored for Goodluck Jonathan. When Goodluck Jonathan left, Buhari came in. We said, Goodluck Jonathan, it was better. This and that. Buhari left. And I am so surprised that some Nigerians are saying today they prefer Tinubu.
The Jews wanted to go back to Egypt.
More than
to slavery.
They prefer Buhari more than Tinubu. Yes. And quote me anywhere. Even if Obi comes into power tomorrow, Nigerians will still tell you that Tinubu is better.
Why? Because APC Obi. Government we want to frustrate.
Talk about let me say something. I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
During the course of deliberation here, they said Tinubu want to force a one-party state. When Tinubu was the governor of Lagos between 1999 to 2003, do you know that the PDP had 31 governors too, just like the APC have now. Okay.
Tinubu was.
You know that there was a time the presidency of Obasanjo wasn't giving revenue to the state government, Lagos state government.
For so long. For
a very long time, at the span of 3-4 years.
Yes.
But yet Tinubu was able to do the things he did in Lagos State. So people will come out and say, let us check the record that Obi did this as a governor.
Sorry. Before you say he did something, always tell us what he did. What did Tinubu do?
Just like you said, we should carry our phone and begin to fact check on the internet. You can do that. It is not my because
he said Tinubu ran Lagos without federal
allocations. Exactly. Nobody's going to talk about that.
More local government. I was funding them.
You know why? That is why I continue to say most times when I want to deliberate or argue about something, I don't argue based on emotion because there are people who will never.
Sir, we will argue on emotion.
No.
When a man is hungry, what are you telling me?
Give me room.
No, I heard that statement. Don't tell me
that is his opinion.
And we argue on emotion. Because when my child cannot eat, I will have a loud voice. What are you telling me?
Allow him to speak.
Do you know
he has not been able to answer the question you have asked him.
No, but he's answering them now one by one. He may not be shouting.
There are people who will never patronize you even if you are saying long life and prosperity.
Yes.
There are people by their dislike for Tinubu, no matter what he does, they will still find a way to puncture it, to put a hole to whatever. In fact, they won't even bury any of his achievement. And I made mention of revenue. How much was the federal government allocating to states before Tinubu came into power?
In dollar,
the same, wait, the same
whatever
currency it is.
The difference in the exchange rate.
You are making me lose. You are making
it look as though if you are going to talk about allocation that has increased, tell us in dollar, which is about
no, even if you take it back to that exchange rate, there is more allocation to.
I don't think so.
Let us be pragmatic.
Because
by the time you begin to object me when I'm saying something, I tend to lose some of the focus and the point of view I want to stipulate. So, however, Tinubu, what was being given to state government during the time of Buhari, and compared to what is being given to state government now? We talk about autonomy, local government autonomy, which was even important, which was a key role to local government development.
For the national development.
But there are people who came to update it.
Even among the states.
Yes. The people came updated it and said, no, this and that. So some of it, but because Tinubu is not like that, I'm not a supporter, I'm not a fanatic of Tinubu. He's not from my state. We are not from the same family. And I continue to ask people, if you see me argue, have you seen have you seen where APC gave me a bag of rice during the last presidential election? I was an ad hoc staff, and as an ad hoc staff, it is ideal that you are not in support of any political party. And I was an ad hoc staff, and I watched how people came and voted for the APC. So most of the votes that were counted, in fact, APC won almost all.
They voted for APC or APC rigged the election.
How? How can you say
we did ad hoc staff
we use
together.
documents now. We use documents.
Both of us.
No, police that one. I just massive.
APC
just lies.
Chasing people that wanted to vote for Obi.
That's a different thing. But to say they rig election, don't say that.
But if talks are chasing those that are supposed to,
that's a different thing. Electoral violence. It can happen anywhere.
If APC talks are chasing those that are supposed to,
it's not the same thing as rigging.
Wow.
What's the difference?
So if I'm not allowed to vote, that election has not been rigged?
No. Electoral violence, which happens everywhere.
Everywhere? Yes. Apart from Nigeria now.
Excuse me, there are propounded theories that you can only rig where you have majority. You can only carry out electoral violence where you have majority. Can you go and carry out electoral violence in Daura against Buhari?
No.
You can't.
You can't.
Go, if you carry out electoral violence against Igbos in Lagos, nobody holds the Igbos from carrying out electoral violence against Yoruba in the Southeast.
Oh, really?
You cannot carry out electoral violence in this village against me. You come to this village,
yes,
and people, let me tell people to even come here and kidnap a person. You need to be the devil himself. Unless the villagers themselves want you to be kidnapped. So you cannot come here, we have a person contesting chairmanship now from this village. Then you come and prevent the villagers. You left your village. You came here to prevent my villagers from voting for their son. So electoral violence is proportional to the support of the person benefiting from the violence.
Then there should be no. That
is a theory that has been propounded. I'm educated, so I'm telling you.
Sir, I don't think that theory holds no water.
In Nigeria, we go to America now.
I rig election. The reason, sir. It doesn't make any sense. I'm coming, sir. It doesn't make any sense.
Don't you know the sense I'm making?
No, sir, I'm coming.
I'm saying,
let me make a statement.
Excuse me, before you make it, go ahead. Because you are misrepresenting me, and that's not good.
Okay, let me hear what you are saying.
For instance, I have 20 children here.
Yes.
You have to.
And I have a gun.
Let me land.
Yes, my people
have a gun.
Wait, so that is a very sensitive question you are saying.
Allow me to land. It's my opinion.
They are turning away from
I have 20 children here.
Okay.
And I'm contesting with you. You have 2 children in your own village.
Yes.
your village will now come to my 20 children.
Yes.
I prevent them from voting.
Yes.
Because now only you carry gun.
Yes.
It's not possible.
It's possible.
Oh my God.
How can you say it's possible?
It's possible because if listen, what I'm saying is this. You're talking about
No, you are not being logical.
I want to say it now.
Exactly.
You have
Don't just talk on a motor.
can I not speak?
You,
I've allowed you to
I
speak.
said here in my village,
Okay, let me
I have
speak
20
now.
children.
Okay, let me
I'm
speak.
contesting with you, and you have 2. And you are telling me that your 2 will come and tell my 20 not to vote for me.
Let me speak now, sir. You have
No,
said,
you
have
are
said
talking
your
about hardship. Yes, you talk about hardship. Why you not apply the same principle now? You have 10 naira, I have 10 naira. You have 20 children, I have 2 children. Who will enjoy more? Is it not my 2
I give a
children?
thumbs up for that.
I'll give them 500 naira. Your own, you will give them 2 naira.
The issue I have here is just, we are just.
No, you
we are
said
not
no,
addressing-
excuse me.
we are not addressing the matter.
No. You are not being logical. Let's be logical.
No, you've not allowed me to speak. How will I be logical?
No.
You
We are approaching it wrongly.
But I still kept quiet now.
No, you were approaching it wrongly. That your 2 children.
Okay,
can
go
come
ahead.
to my
Then
20
will you allow me
children.
to speak?
It's not possible, sir.
Can I not
It's
speak?
not possible. So I don't
Can I not speak?
I don't want to listen to it.
Go ahead.
I don't want to listen to it.
I have to now. I have to, sir.
It's a waste of time for you to
This is the
your 2
purpose for
children
us to
will
have
come
to
and oppress
convey
my
here.
20 children.
No,
Yeah,
let
you
me
said
say,
because of God.
you know what
Who
you have
told you
said?
my children will not have 20 guns?
What you have said is this.
To your 2 guns.
What you have said is this. That the people who carry out electoral violence, they have the majority. Because the minority cannot do that. Yes. And I'm saying, what is not the, I'm coming, sir. What is not the purpose of the electoral violence if they have the majority? That's my own question to you. If they have the majority, why would the majority
But,
carry?
sir,
Are you even listening to what I'm
I've heard
saying?
you now. I want to respond. With all due respect, there is no place that there is no crime.
You in the US.
Anywhere, even in heaven.
Let us restrict ourselves to this topic.
No. You will always have electoral violence everywhere.
Yes, electoral violence.
It's US.
There will always be electoral violence. Didn't it happen?
You say the majority, but you say it's the
when
majority that
they even went to the capital, to the parliament to kill people. So electoral violence everywhere. Let's not use that as an excuse for anything. It's everywhere.
It's not everywhere, sir.
I said, even in heaven, there's electoral violence. There was violence in heaven.
There was no election there, sir. There was no election in heaven.
No.
Election does not operate.
There was in
heaven. Does not operate on elections.
Let me tell you, Satan, the beautiful angel, want to contest with God. He want to, and then there was war in heaven, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And then they fought a war and he was thrown down. It was an election.
He wanted to overthrow.
What is that? Is that not a form of election?
No, that's not election.
No, that's contestation.
So you can't vote now.
Election is about contestation. Whether you use ballot or you use the sword, like you talk about guns.
No, I don't. Election cannot be by the sword. Election cannot be.
No, you talk about guns.
You cannot define election.
My question.
As by the sword.
My question.
I don't think it has been addressed. And I was hoping that after
it
you
has
have
not been
spoken, I will be allowed to.
Because he wasn't giving room now.
So now I need
Exactly.
you to explain to me. Point out one thing Tinubu has done right in this 3 years.
I have pointed out about 5 that I had.
Did you hear anyone?
Can
I didn't make mention of anyone.
I didn't.
I can list what I had.
You only made mention.
Okay, let me-
strike.
Number 1, you said frequency of ASU strike is no more there.
Okay.
Increase revenue to states and local governments.
Okay.
He mentioned a number of them now.
Okay, welcome back once more. Earlier on, we were discussing with Dr. Senator and Precious Kadiri. So we are talking about the development of Nigerian. If Nigerian is getting any better or is getting worse than it used to be before. So our senator here was giving us an analysis about the development of Nigeria, what the president is doing that the common Nigerian are not aware of. So I would like you to continue.
You see, I got to discover that the media has a power. The media has power in the sense that it has its own way of influencing the masses or letting the masses know what they want to know or what they wish for the masses to know. Just like I said earlier on, I said that somebody like Alex Oti, who the media are publishing. There's a governor somewhere too who is doing as good as Alex Oti, but the media won't sell him. That is the power of the media. More also that of the presidency, as the case may be. There are people who will never give credit or accolades to him, irrespective of what he does or what he has been doing so far. And more also when it comes to, if you tell a common man who is not educated some of the policies of the current administration, they won't understand. They won't get to. The information is not important to them because they will not know some of those businesses. Their own concern is fuel has increased. What we used to Indomie we used to buy for 15 naira is now 100 naira. This and that. So that is their own concern about what the administration is doing. But if you come to mention that the GDP of the country, the economic situation of the country, if you even mention allocations from the federal government to the revenue from the federal government to the state government through to the local government, a common man, a layman who is not educated will not get those point of view. And like I said one time in podcast, I think Rome was not built in one day. So these things, the country has been dilapidated over by past government and the rest, and these things will take time to be put in place, and it is a rigorous process. We mustn't have it clean. However, even the cost of fuel, the fuel subsidy that was removed, even the opposition party today we have, during their campaign, they came also to say that they were going to remove fuel subsidy. And sometimes I sit to wonder, in what way? Is there a way there will be a removal of fuel subsidy that this same situation or this same hardship as lamented by Nigerians? Is there a way he's going to remove the fuel subsidy that won't affect the masses somehow? We all know that yes, fuel most times, in most cases, affects the commodity of the price of commodities. But however, this is a rigorous process we need to go through to ensure that we arrive at a better. And more also, to summarize it, like I said before, Nigerians we are Oliver Twist and we're always asking for more. Even if, believe me, even if the likes of Peter Obi comes to rule Nigeria, there are people who will still thwart his policy, who will still speak against, object, and hypocritically analyze his system of policies, his policies, and his way of governance. So that is my few points I have to make.
Okay, so Professor Kadiri here was earlier on, he was really bitter and against the present administration. So I would like to hear your views.
Thank you very much. If it has concerned the achievement of this government, I would rather talk about, Senator here spoke as regards some of the things he believes that this administration will be able to achieve, and he says those things are not experienced by the common man. That is his point. Yeah. That the common man does not understand it because the common man is not interested in this grammar we are speaking here. They are in the village. I often say that you and I are not even the poor Nigerians, even as we are now, but we can't even refer to ourselves as the real poor Nigeria because first thing, you have education, that's the leverage, But there are some persons who, they are dying. If it's that hard for you who have education, who have skill and what have you, those persons who are in the village, some of them are dying. I would rather talk about the things that the common man would want this administration to put in place. And then we can say, okay, this administration is going in the right direction. In the issue of security, the primary purpose of government is to secure a citizen. Yes, it's a primary purpose. Roads are secondary need because if you kill me, there is no property, there is nothing. So I would expect that this administration should enforce the political will because I listened to, I think, this. I cannot really put my finger on it again. The person I was speaking the other time, but I was speaking on behalf of the government, and he talked about the fact that there is no political will to combat insecurity in this country. Because when you catch a group of terrorists, somebody saying our brother. I don't know if you're getting me now. Or for example, the government today, I read in the news that over 700 something new repented Boko Haram has been brought back into the. They say they are repented Boko Haram. They have been, they are bringing terrorists nowhere in the world. You bring terrorists into your own military, your own security architecture. It's crazy. So what I think the ordinary Nigeria would appreciate Mr. President for is that if we can secure this country. Kidnapping has become another kind of business for God knows who. That people are picked from their school. The other day, a friend of mine, his son, was just snatched from school. They demanded over 200 and something million. If you see the person, what would they talk about? So 200 and something million. And what is now the norm now? They post the person's picture, post an account number, the public begin to generate fund for kidnappers. And what does that do? Because there's nobody who is being caught, so to say, or at least less than 1% of these people are being caught. There is now even more, what do I say now, support for that people to come in. More people are even going into the business because it's a good business for them now. God help us. So, security, I would expect Mr. President to work on security. And in the issue of, you talked about a fuel subsidy removal. Yeah. Subsidy is not a bad thing. I think the conversation about subsidy, I listened to Mr. Peter Obi, I listened to this administration. In fact, when this president came up to say he was removing subsidy, in fact, I felt it was good because I think the reason for opposition is so that at the end of the day, we disagree to agree. If you can pick from the point I have, do it the right way, and the country is moving in the right direction. Mr. Obi has said, Peter Obi has said that if there is somebody who will do the job better than him, he will not even bother anymore. He will stay away. What is the essence? That man has been making money for God knows how long. And he said it the other day, I was listening to him, that it is even politics that have taken more money from him. So what am I trying to say in a nutshell? The issue of removal of fuel subsidy. The problem with fuel subsidy is not bad, but it is the manner.
Subsidy removal is not bad.
The removal is not bad also. First of all, even giving subsidy is not bad because other countries of the world also give subsidy in different sectors to their. Sometimes they even give money, they give cash, like in the US.
Corruption.
Yes, yeah. But the issue was the corruption. Some persons were taking the subsidy to other countries to retrieve the money.
Yes, yes.
And so they say, let us remove subsidy. But the problem I have with this government on the issue of subsidy is this: where is the money going to? Because we are still borrowing at a higher rate. In fact, the number of, I think I saw the numbers the other day. More than 50% increment, overall increment, this administration, compared to other administration, more than 50%. And you can pull up that data. So there is so much borrowing going on, yet subsidy has been removed. You know, and so we're not asking ourselves, this sacrifice, at what point is this sacrificing going to end for the masses and begin for the government? And then also, thirdly, I will say what the government should do that I, an ordinary Nigerian, or those who I would say they are less privileged, if the government to reduce the cost of governance. It's crazy that our president is buying the jet that he buys and he claims that this country is broke. It's crazy the amount of money that is being lavished around. A lot of money is going around. That's the truth. So, if government, and that's what Obi has also promised, cut down the cost of governance. And I will continue to hold government. So, if government can cut down the cost of, cut down its own costs, improve on security, then also, if you talk about education, it's a very important aspect. If this country is going to see any form of development, we must be educated. And when I say educated, I say it in a context, not just going to school, and you're not being empowered with the knowledge that you needed. But I would see that Nigeria will begin to educate its citizen with the required skill, the skill that will allow us to compete with other countries of the world. I think I will just stop it here. But to just more or less speak to what he said as per what this government has done, is this way I've outlined those to say these are the things I believe the common man wants to see, and then they would agree. We all would therefore agree that the government is doing well. Thank you.
Okay, so doctor, as of today, Nigeria is the most poor country in the world in terms of population. We have 87 million people in poverty in Nigeria. That is almost 70%, if I'm not mistaken, since this administration took power, or since they're into office. So does that mean, because Senator always hit on the fact that this whole thing will take time, does that mean more Nigeria, or almost 90% of Nigeria, will become poorer, or the country will turn into something else before the government will do something for us?
Yes, I admit that a very large proportion of the Nigerian population is poor. But I disagree with the fact that Nigeria is the poorest country in the world.
It is. Before I came, I fact checked and I discovered that
you fast checked the opinion of someone somewhere. Maybe after speaking, my statement become the new fact. Nigeria is not the poorest country in the world.
Okay. They said Nigeria.
Even India, that is catching up with the developed world today, has more poor people than Nigeria. So this voicing, I always speak differently. This cry of poverty, hunger, it's not going to help us because the resources are not there given our population. No government can do any magic. No miracle will come from anywhere to have every Nigeria eating 3 meals a day and enjoying and shouting Hosanna. It's not going to happen. Not now, not tomorrow, and not forever. Not under Obi, not under AJ Gabriel, not under me, not under you. So it's easy to demonize the government in power. Tinubu is not doing this. That brings me to the current regime. Let me say to Nigerians and to anybody who cares to listen, I never supported this government. I never voted for Tinubu. I voted for Obi. I never liked the Muslim ticket because I'm a Christian. But I must confess that this government, in my opinion, from what I know, from the vantage point I occupy in Nigeria, having worked in the Federal Ministry of Finance and retiring in the directorate level, I can say this government is working harder than any government I've ever known in so many areas. One of the panelists here asked a question. How have we had a fast strike? While we were here, a senior colleague called me about his domiciliary account. The two exchange regimes have been breached. Those mallards selling dollar on the street, they can't sell higher than what, not too far from the exchange rate, the official exchange rate. Diaspora remittance to Nigeria comes to Nigeria in Naira instead of in dollars. I don't know, anybody here who has traveled abroad, even in South Africa here, you can't even buy anything with dollar. It will be rejected. You have to convert it to rand. You go, I was in Denmark the other day, and I felt Denmark was part of EU. As soon as I crossed into Copenhagen, and I went into a restaurant with my euro, they rejected it. They insisted on krona. Even Denmark. I was in Germany a few months ago, just recently. I could not buy anything with dollar. I had to buy in euro. But in Nigeria, school fees are being paid in dollar. How will there not be? How will our currency not crash? But Tinubu historically, courageously, has brought that to an end. And because of that, we are talking of removal of subsidy having increased the revenue available to government. The highest revenue available to the federal government of Nigeria today is diaspora remittance. The highest source of foreign exchange to the federal government of Nigeria is diaspora remittance in billions of dollars. Nobody talks about this. I don't know whether I'm just an abnormal human being. We are not making much money from oil and gas compared with diaspora remittance. And come to think of the subsidy that people are shouting that Tinubu would do. Tinubu is a God-sent angel to deliver Nigeria from the impending doom of falling into the precipice, the abyss of economic debt. What we call subsidy was just a channel for the siphoning of Nigerian wealth by a few members of this wicked cabal that has reigned over the country since independence, that took over from the colonial masters and recolonized Nigeria in a worse manner without equity. The colonialists were a bit sympathetic, but the cabal holding Nigeria's jugular today are Nigerians, and they are not sympathetic. So you have what they call round tripping. People bring an empty ship in the coast of Abidjan and they bring documents here that they have supplied Nigeria with petroleum. They signed it and then they pay them. The ship goes back, it goes back, and then they continue to pay, and nothing comes to Nigeria. And what we call subsidy was just to subsidize the cabal. So Tinubu broke that. I am not surprised that all over Nigeria everybody is shouting against Tinubu. Tinubu must go. Why will he not be condemned? The cabal who were making billions daily from petroleum subsidy, their back has been broken. And there's no presidential aspirant who didn't say they were going to remove subsidy, including the ADC today that is shouting Tinubu must go. But none of them had the courage. None of them would have had the courage. So for that alone, Tinubu must go for breaking the backbone of the cabal. Secondly, unifying the exchange rate. Do you know a CBN governor will just allocate to you $10 million? That day, that same day, you will make 1 billion naira from that $10 million by selling the money in the black market. Okay. And you return the same $10 million, return it back to them by going to the bank again, collecting $10 million official rate, and you give back to the CBA. Without spending your money, you become a billionaire overnight. Tinubu broke that backbone. How will they not shout Tinubu must go? How? Tell me. That's not all. Insecurity. My colleague here mentioned that when terrorists are apprehended, you have people who will be shouting, why do you want to arrest our brothers? Why are you killing our brothers? You have Shegumi, who is saying that the amnesty extended to the Niger Delta militants who are fighting against environmental pollution and the stealing of their God-given resources should be equated to amnesty to be given to terrorism who are murdering people. Not. My colleague here mentioned that they are calling people repentant terrorists. They train them, feed them, and re-enroll them in the nation's security system, the military, and put them in the police, the military, and so on. Why the victims of the terrorists are in IDP camp languishing in disease, poverty, and hunger? What a policy. I'm coming to a point. Do you know the reason for that? It's not Tinubu's fault. Tinubu is a politician who wants to win election. And the North, especially in the Northwest, insisted that without them, nobody can be president in Nigeria. Yes. They are the same people who are shouting, insisting on that policy, led by Shegumi and so many silent northern leaders. It's true. I should be contradicted by those who are listening to me. The North is promoting terrorism. They don't condemn it. And any president who comes to check terrorism, they said is killing their own people. That it should give amnesty to them like they gave to the Niger Delta militants. And so that terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping is spreading. And you know, anything that brings free money, nobody in it want to leave it. And those who are not in it, and they see the affluence and the money that is being made by those in it, they want to join. That is how that cancer is going to take over the body cells of the entire country if the North does not wake up. But you know the thing with cancer, it usually consumes the host organ first and then spread out to the other organs of the body. So the North will be the first victim of this terrorism they are using as a political tool against whoever is currently in administration from the South. So little wonder, today Zamfara, Katsina, Kebbi, the axis of the former president are the epicenter of terrorist killing and banditry today.
They did that to a southern president, to Goodluck Jonathan.
They did that to Jonathan from the northeast. Yes. And the northeast began to suffer Boko Haram because cancer always consumes the cell, the host cell, before spreading out. It's always benign in the host cell. But when it has finished with the host cell, yes, it becomes malignant. It spreads out to other cells. So Nigeria has had a cancer that is in the northeast called Boko Haram. Wow. It has become malignant. It has spread to Niger, Kwara, Kogi. And Nigeria developed another cancer in the Northwest, promoted by Sheikh Gumi and his like.
And his followers.
Unfortunately, the Sultan, because they killed, they murdered an innocent girl, and the Sultan said he cannot overrule the law of the law of God in favor of the law of man. And so Deborah's killers were left. So that's a cancer. Now that cancer has become malignant, spreading to Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto, and all that as are coming down to the south. It's in Kogi now, it's in Edo now, it's going down, it's in Ondo, all the bordering states with the north. Kwara of all places is consumed completely. Needless to measure Benue and Plateau, and Nasarawa, and even all the states in the north. It's a cancer. Tinubu unable to bring insecurity to an end is because of the promoters of insecurity who are controlling the majority votes, the votes number. You cannot be president without number. And he cannot give up and leave presidency to only one session. And so the secret of the game is to, is to align with those who will vote for you and allow evil to continue. Because you need them to be able to occupy the place of power. And without being the place of power, you will not be able to right the wrongs being done to your own people. And I want to round up by insisting that there's no country in the world that will ever be developed unless the people are the same. Same tribe, same race, same color, same religion. They must have one thing in common, a unifying force. They must have one thing in common. Anything short of that is backwardness. I want to reemphasize this. I'm saying there's no society or country in the world that will make advancement, that will develop, unless they have one thing holding them together. In Nigeria, we don't have such a thing. We have Hausa Fulani pulling Nigeria to one direction. We have the Yorubas pulling Nigeria to one direction. We have the Igbos pulling Nigeria to one direction. Then we have the minority tribe who are aggrieved, are crying because they are suffering under the three giants, sabotaging the system, doing anything they can. Because they lose nothing, because he that is down needs fear no fall. So they have no reason to sacrifice their life for a country that is killing them. And that's why Nigeria cannot go forward. But the most unfortunate thing about Nigeria is the fact that it will not only be able to move forward, it cannot remain stable. Because if you remain stable, at least you maintain the status quo. I've had many panelists here say the years before are better than today. The previous administration are better than today's administration. Yes, that's what will happen to Nigeria. We are moving backward. We are moving backward for a society that is being pulled apart by the different components, tribal components of the country. The only direction they can move is downward or backward, never forward or upward. I tell you this for free. And like I used to say, if I have 30 years to live, what I've just told you now will remain the same. Even after I've died, people will remember that I said this. And unless the status quo is changed, a country's stretch is not on the number. Look at Israel. Look at Israel. Tiny Israel. Is world's leading technology to the technological power today. Military power today. Just name all the Nobel Prize winners in the world. 60% of them are Jews. Especially in science and technology. And name anything that is here. See the SIM card? Just name anything. Invented by the Jews with their small number. So it's not about size. If Nigeria want to develop, one way, without advocating for breakup, is for federated units to be independent and let them compete side by side. Our people say, goat, to eat a leaf, it has to see another goat eat that leaf. So we have a hopeless situation in our hands. We have one country in the world that can never move forward. That country is Nigeria. No matter the wealth, even if you give the whole wealth of the world and concentrate them in Nigeria, Nigeria will not develop. Nigeria will not move forward. Nigeria will not be stable. Nigeria will move backward. Nigeria will go downward. It's not a prophet. I'm not a prophet of doom. That is the reality. I want to round this up by referring to the biblical Tower of Babel. God himself said, it's in the two holy books, that anything men united together, agreed together to do, they will achieve it. So he came down and stopped them by scattering their language, but he never took that power from them. Recently, America went to the moon again, but this time, they went to the other side of the moon.
Yeah.
That is the farthest distance any human species has ever traveled.
Yeah.
Because the moon rotates on its axis like a ball, you put a stick through it, so it rotates around that stick. And the sun is in one side. The side pointing, that stick pointing to the sun, is the one we see that is reflected to the earth. Yes. The other side, there's no sun there for it to point to. It's dark forever from eternity. Men, for the first time, went there and went around it. And when they went to the back, every communication channel was cut off.
For 40-something minutes, yes, sure.
I mean, that's the dark side of the universe. They decided it, and they made it. If they had wanted to land, they will land. And remember, they said they are going to Mars. And God has authorized man, anything they agreed together to do, they will succeed. If they cooperate. How can in Nigeria how can we agree together? Some of you have talked about East-West Coastal Highway, is the annual budget. If that coastal highway is going to cost $50 billion to construct, in other climes, they will vote that money for it, and it will be done. But in Nigeria, no. Because of the area the road will pass through, the amount of money allocated to that area must be equal to the amount of money to be allocated to another area where the express will not pass through. So in that case, Sokoto will have the same amount allocated to Federal Road as Akwa Ibom, as Lagos, as Ondo, as Ogun, as Edo, as Oshu, as Kogi. I will give you an example. When Obasanjo was sworn in 1999, for those of you who were adults, the first road he flagged off was the Ibadan or Ilori Road. As soon as he did that, all the northern legislators, both in the Senate and the House of Representatives, rose up with one voice that is a Yoruba road. I wrote for a newspaper then that that road is being followed by everybody. I'm from Edo State. I follow that road. People from Kebbi State, they follow that road. They bring cattle through that road. People from Imo State, they follow that road. Any road that is of economic value to Nigeria, this is even a southwest, north central, it's a road linking the whole federation from the port. They went against it. That was 1999. Till today, that road has not been completed. 1999 till date, that road has not been completed. Then I give another example, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Sure. Jonathan was rounding it up. It was just remaining a few kilometers to the Ibadan end when he left power. Buhari struck it out of the budget for the year he came in. Until protest. The same thing happened to the Abuja, Okene, Lokoja, Okene, Auchi, Bini, Lagos Road. Buhari removed it from the budget until Oshomole fought for it. I give you another example. We have Lagos seaports. The North would have been landlocked if it was a country, just like Niger Republic. In fact, Niger goods come through Nigeria. They have shifted it to Togo now because of the breakdown in ECOWAS. They left ECOWAS recently. Now, the Lagos port is the main port that supplies the northern part of the country, including Chad. Buhari took $1.9 billion from China instead of constructing a rail line from the port from Lagos to Sokoto to Maiduguri. He constructed a rail line, ultramodern rail line from Jigawa, Kano to Maradi in the heart of Niger Republic. And that rail line, as we speak, it's animals that sleep on it. No single rail on top of it. And we are owing $1.9 billion that has gone up by capitalization of interest to about $3 billion today. That you and I are paying for nothing. And the Lagos port is still choked up. And then Lagos traffic at the road, people are dying. There's no movement of goods. Even cost of price of goods and commodity that we're talking about, we are blaming Tinubu for. That is one of the reasons people are suffering. God Buhari. That reminds me also, when Buhari came into power, the first thing he cancelled was the contract between the governor of Lagos, Lateef Jakonde, and a French company to construct a metro line, of which the foreign company was paying 60%. And Lagos state government 40%. Federal government's role is to guarantee, because the states are not sovereign nations, they cannot take loan outside without federal approval because of counterpart funding. Buhari cancelled it, and they told him, in this contract, if we cancel it, we will be made to pay a fine, double the value. He said, yes, Nigeria is ready to pay. He said, why is he not in Kano and Kaduna? If they had allowed that metro line in Lagos, immediately, maybe Kano would have followed. But they didn't allow it. And Nigeria is the only country in the world that I know, developed country in the world that I know, that do not have underground metro system. In fact, when I first got to Europe in the 80s, I found that life underground is always more than life on the surface. On the surface, there are few people, but go under, you will see crowd, different layers of under. In China, that you say is overpopulated, yes, you see masses of people, but underneath, you have so many people, massively. So Nigerian cities are the only cities without underground system. This is where that law is confirmed, that theory, that no country develop without a unified ethos or tribe. And the reason Buhari did that was that he's not a Yoruba man, he's a Fulani man. How can he preside over something good happening in Yoruba land? Is that a country? Is that a country? Your own country. I keep mentioning Buhari. OAU, the Secretary General of OAU, the best candidate was an Igbo man, Ide. In Addis Ababa, Buhari sponsored a Guinea, somebody from Guinea Republic. And when the man won, Buhari was dancing, he was captured dancing. And all the other heads of state in Nigeria were looking at him. This man is rejoicing because they defeated a Nigerian. It's still historical. We have so many sad chapters in our national life.
Buhari is a doom to Nigeria.
Yeah. And that's the kind of person the Nigerians want. Your tribe person. Even if he steals, you celebrate him.
Nepotism is playing here.
Nepotism, but Buhari is the father of nepotism when it comes to Nigerian history. Tinubu has not done half of what Buhari did. I can say it because I was in service. There are many things you don't know. So, this is the paradox. We found ourselves in the Nigerian state. We are moving nowhere. I can go on and on because of time. By the time I finish telling you the story of why Nigeria cannot move forward, I think we will need days and months to continue to that. Having been a player, having been a member of the system. So the security of Nigeria is largely as a result of tribalistic emotional attachment to crime and tribe. Being used as a political tool to bring down the opponent, like it was done to Jonathan. It's being done to Tinubu now. But the unfortunate thing is that nature, nobody has an overriding power over nature. Insecurity is cancer. It begins with the cell that hosts it. After destroying it, because it feeds on cell, it will now spread out. It is benign when it's with you. When it has finished with you, it will become malignant. It will spread out to other areas. And mark it. If it's not checked, it will spread out to the rest of West Africa, to the whole of Africa. And that is the end of the world. And that's why we are against some religions. No religion is exempted here from preaching violence. Violence. Because it will consume that religion. We consume it and consume others. Look at the world today. Anywhere a religion is practiced on the basis of violence, check that country. They never have peace. They never, even what is happening now in Iran, it's like the biblical times when the Jews are fighting with the enemy will start fighting against each other, destroy each other completely, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, the whole Middle East is being destroyed by Iran because they are fighting with Israel and America. America is untouched. Israel is a part of the Middle East. They are destroyed. But one thing peculiar to this war is that these Israeli people are not being killed. Their things are being destroyed. But the other people are being killed along with their things being destroyed. So we're having a repetition of enemy fighting against each other. The one group fighting against each other, destroying themselves because they hate one other group. I hope we learned from this. That's what is happening to Nigeria.
Okay.
Insecurity is predominant more. We are here now. Most northerners cannot go to their constituents. Senators cannot go to their villages. Even governors, they escape assassination. Even Governor Zulu of Borno has escaped death several times.
Yeah, it's true.
I rest my case.
All right. Thank you, sir. And thank you to our senator here, Precious Kadiri. So I think we'll call this a wrap.